Triple H reportedly gives up on a WWE superstar. Major SmackDown stars have been cleared for Elimination Chamber. And could a WWE star be bringing their old theme music back? More on that in a little bit. Hello everybody, Jack and Ross back again with our second news video of the day. It's a harrowing start to the news video, this.
It's ones with a shoot of hope, I reckon.
All right, okay.
Because the news is that WWE have given up on Baron Corbin's affiliation with JBL, as we saw in last week's Raw. Heartbreakingly, JBL called Baron Corbin a turd he couldn't polish. He tried. Imagine JBL of all people saying that to you. But now it looks like from Dave Meltzer, they have officially given up on it. What has he said this morning?
Dave Meltzer said, where they go with Corbin, I don't know. It felt very much, it being the angle on last week's TV, it felt very much like a burial for Corbin. He's had so many gimmick changes. There's nothing wrong or right. There's nothing wrong or right with him.
What does that mean?
I think he means there's nothing wrong with him, but he's gone. There's nothing. I think he means he's all right. Like he's not particularly crap, but he's not amazing. He's not Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong or right with him, but in the pantheon of stars, he's just not at that top star level. I think they wanted him to be at that level, and they gave him every chance to be at that level. He's just a guy, a tall guy, but he's just a guy. Savage problem.
Bloody hell. Davis bodies Baron Corbin.
Wow.
I don't know, it's a weird one for Baron Corbin.
And Corbin hates the dirt sheets as well.
Aye. Go back to Ring of Honor, Meltzer, wherever you came from, he'll probably say.
Right.
But it's a weird one for Corbin because he was in the press just before he came back, saying I'm going to have a complete reboot after the Happy Corbin stuff came to an end. Then he came back with this reboot, and JBL was there, but he was largely still Happy Corbin with a slightly different attire.
Yeah.
I don't think the long matches on Raw helped him in the early going.
No.
And then ever since then, JBL kind of overshadowed him with the promos. I know they were like really old-fashioned promos he's been cutting, but that was more effective than everything Baron Corbin was doing himself.
Yeah, I totally agree. It felt like they were like, right, we're going to get you serious now. We're going to actually push you now. And it actually, it hindered him more than it helped him. And I think he was doing fine beforehand. And you could argue that Corbin's not the best promo, but he's not the worst. I don't think he needs someone to
He's
talk
one of the
for
most naturally hateable people on the roster, which there aren't too many of. But I think the shoots of hope come in the fact he's lost his winnings from that game, that casino game a few weeks ago. He's now lost his manager. He's lost his bollocks. He's been castrated on Raw. Dave Meltzer's done that as well. Yeah. So he's hit rock bottom. Let's get the bum-ass Corbin back in and see if he can be a babyface.
I would agree
after
with
a long storyline.
I think we all agreed with that on the podcast as well. We all say, I know Matthew was a big fan of bum-ass Corbin as well. We all, I agree. I think it's a good idea. But also, it's worth pointing out as well that Meltzer did confirm as well in this radio show they gave up on it being Corbin's push. Obviously, that wasn't the plan. The guy in charge, that's Paul, felt it wasn't working, and that was it. So it seems like Corbin's push is over.
That's another good thing as well. That Triple H has seen it's not working, and he's just given up on it rather than persisting with it. Because there was a time where Vince would persist with things that weren't working. But now we don't.
I agree. Also, we've got another. Well, one of those wrestlers who, and there's quite a few examples really, given the shifting of power behind the scenes in WWE and everything. There's various superstars who had barely gone from WWE and have now been rehired, which is a good thing, obviously, but it's just quite confusing sometimes. One of those names is Bronson Reed, who was recently a guest on After the Bell with Corey Graves, where he talked about this process, the being released and the being rehired as well. Yeah,
he says, to me, I was just angry that I didn't get to do more with the WWE, which put a chip on my shoulder. You see, Miz, a chip on his shoulder. I went out there and did whatever I could to be the best that I could be, which obviously got me seen to come back. So, in the end, I think it was a little gut-wrenching at the time, but it might have been beneficial for my career.
Yeah, he also talked about the return and how the return happened and all that sort of thing, and his relationship with Triple H, saying, at the time, I was working with New Japan, and it looked like I could do one of two things. I could have signed on with New Japan to stay longer, or I could have come back to WWE. I sent a text to Hunter, just a quick... I sent a text to Hunter to see if he was interested, and he was. So he set up a time to call me. He called me, and we had a great chat about everything. Not just coming back to WWE, but wrestling in general and what I've been doing. It just felt right. It felt like, okay, this is the move that I need to make. He also says that he'd said to Triple H, I didn't get to do those things like the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, or an Elimination Chamber. These are things that I wanted to be able to do, so I'm very happy that I'm back to be able to do those things.
You know what's going to be interesting for the viewer? If you go back and listen to the Straight to Hell I did with Bronson Reed just about the time he got released and see if he was saying the same thing.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, my goodness me. Go and check that out.
It's been an it's been a very underwhelming but very solid return, I think.
Right, yeah.
When he's wrestled, it's been very good to watch. He's obviously very different in the way he looks and the way he moves for the stuff he can do for a man of his size.
Yes.
All very impressive. He's just been very few and far between since his return. So it's not been the best return, but it's not been the worst.
I think it's all right for now because it's obviously we're approaching WrestleMania. There's a lot of big storylines going on, and maybe you want to kind of ease him in rather than try and push him too hard too soon. But I agree, it has felt, well, it feels like there's been more Miz stuff than there has Bronson Reed stuff. Obviously, He's turned up and gone, I'm the Miz's bodyguard, but he's not. He's like
just a mercenary.
He doesn't care about the Miz. Yeah,
he could be anyone's bodyguard if they pay him.
Yes, and that'll obviously go somewhere. And then I think from this initial story, this is what I'm trying to say. Is this is like his Deacon Batista stage. Yeah. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Another story now. Major WWE stars have been reportedly cleared for Elimination Chamber, who might not have necessarily been able to attend in previous years.
Yeah, Jimmy Uso has been unable to enter Canada as a result of his DUI history, which is why Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns said the Usos should stay home this weekend for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. But Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez then have said that Jimmy Uso has actually been cleared to enter Canada now, and that this whole stay home stuff could be playing on the idea that fans know the Usos aren't allowed in Canada, but actually it's going to swerve us all.
Well, yeah, Jay should be there, getting involved in Sami versus Roman somehow, and maybe Jimmy could stop Jay from getting involved in that match.
Well, you did that video on why Jay is the center point of this storyline.
Yes.
Oh, well, what's he gonna do? He could go any way.
He could go either way, couldn't he? He could help Sami or just shaft Sami and set up a WrestleMania tag team match with Sami and Kev versus the Usos.
Wow. Meltzer also said when it first came up, the whole Canada situation, Meltzer says he was told they are both cleared. So he's put his neck on the line there, Dave. It seems quite cut and dry, that one.
Yeah, and I guess it's a nice thing. It come full circle because it was the fact that the Usos couldn't get into Canada that Sami was then put on screen like in a proper segment with Roman Reigns.
Yes.
It's all come full circle.
And do you remember at the time as well, we were all just like, what a charming little bit that was. You know what, Roman and Sami, they were all right together.
They'd be great for a buddy cop movie, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Look where we are now. And also, speaking of Sami Zayn, he was speaking on the Sick podcast.
You know what that sounds like?
What?
It sounds sick.
Yeah, it does sound sick. On the Sick podcast, Sami was asked if he'd be bringing back Worlds Apart, his old Happy Scar theme tune for Elimination Chamber. What did he have to say?
If it were going to come back, I feel like it would be the time and place to do it. I've said in other interviews, I feel like it would be the kind of taking a step backwards. What? The place in Montreal would go mental,
it
Sami
would go
Zayn.
mad, it would.
Imagine if they did it like Drew McIntyre, though, because that was it was nice, but it was a bit like, when they did the Broken Dream song, like for an intro, then it played it was like its current theme.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if they did that, but I think they need to bring it back properly. I think maybe a new song is in the cards. But I feel like that song, even though people have a real fondness for it, it seems, from a character's perspective, it just feels like taking a step backward. At the same time, doing it for a one-night thing in Montreal might be cool. I don't know.
Now, there we go. There's the correct answer at the end there, Sami. I think that it would be very cool. I'd see what he means in that when he was doing the Scar thing, even when he was a happy-go-lucky, when he wasn't doing it ironically, when he was just the babyface Scar theme, it really fit his character, but now he's seen some things and he's a bit more serious now.
Yeah, but I reckon Ariel Helwani's got a lot to answer for. Have you seen that video on the BT Sport YouTube channel over the weekend?
No.
He's baking cupcakes with Sami Zayn a week out from his big championship match.
Okay.
And Sami's eating vegan, I should say, cupcakes. But it's still cupcakes in preparation for a big match.
Surely you've got to be. That's got to be when the diet's at its strictest point.
Exactly.
The week before a big.
We would know.
Yeah, we're big competitors as well. Did you see the lineup for the Celebrity Great British Bake Off?
No.
Sami Zayn's not in it, which is a shame.
But Sami did say he's never baked before, despite being a big fan of the bake. He kept calling it the Bake Off Show. Is that what it's called over there?
Must be, I guess. But there was a huge coup, though. You'll never guess who. The American they did get in. David Schwimmer.
Wow.
That's massive, that, isn't it?
He's everything. He's on Barclays advert, isn't he, over here or something?
Do you think he's doing something like some sort of
just
project
desperate
in the UK? Yeah,
just desperate for money. Rachel's cleared him out.
Yes. Friends fame is alive and well. Thank you very much for watching this news video. Check out our earlier news video today if you want to hear who went to Rob Gronkowski's Super Bowl party. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I've been Jack, this has been Ross, and we'll see you very soon.